Hey guys, I like traveling with my e-bike. Today we're going to talk about how to travel with it safely. The e-bikes we use are Rad Powerbikes. This is basically a street cruiser version. They're, from what I've seen, most of the e-bikes, wherever style you get to, they're going to weigh somewhere around the same. This one's about 60 pounds with the battery on it, and with the two bikes that we take, do the math, we do roughly 120 pounds and that we're toting. That amount of weight that you put on, you can put it where you like. We hang them off the back of the camper, and it's a lot of weight for putting back there. I have some friends, they actually put them on the front of their truck so that they can keep an eye on them. Not a bad idea. Imagine, as I think is with most campers, they're going to tell you that they really don't recommend having anything hooked on the bumper because the bumpers are not designed for supporting much weight. So today we'll talk about how to haul and how to haul safely. First, we'll start with the receiver hitch. The receiver hitch required to carry the weight that we're talking about is a higher grade receiver hitch. This particular one designed to carry somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 pounds. You may notice the bolts holding it on are much heavier than what you'll find on the typical receiver hitch, like if you were hauling just a lightweight bicycle. If you have a receiver hitch that came factory on yours, you certainly need to check to see what kind of ratings that it carries. I have carried the bicycles over 1,600 miles using just this hitch with the heavy duty carrier, and today I'm going to upgrade this after doing a little reading and a little YouTubing. I realized that I probably was not being real smart, and so we'll be installing some safety struts, and we'll take a look at doing that here in just a little bit. This is a hitch I purchased from Amazon, and looking at it, I would give you the manufacturer's name, but they didn't put it on it, and there could be some reasons for that. Overall, I do think that it's a good hitch. It has a real flaw on it, but it is heavy. I'm going with somewhere in the neighborhood of 40-50 pounds. So if you add that to the weight you've already got on your bicycles, now you're pushing in excess of 150 pounds that you're hanging off the bumper. The basic design, you can adjust all these parts. You can move them in and out to fit your wheels. The openings are large enough to where if you have a fat tire bike, you can work with this. The part that goes in the receiver, I think is good heavy duty. There is a latch here. I can't show you with it just laying like this, but where you can release this, then it will allow this to fold down. And that's really important when you start trying to load these bicycles on it, because the back of the camper, you're coming up this high off of the ground, and so to be able to come at that angle makes it where you can take one tire, put it in place, and then bring the other side, sit it in place. It really helps. Each one of the wheels has a little strap where you can strap it down, and initially I really didn't do that, and after having had an episode with about lost a bicycle, I became a bit more cautious. The bicycles are held in place by this little gizmo. So you have two pieces that they come down, and that holds the bicycle down. The other one, you can see I've had to get a little creative. The rubber part it's failed, and so I used a Huggy to kind of soften it just a bit. And then you can bring this down and holds. The problem that I ran into, I was pulling not behind the camper, but simply had the bicycles on the back of the truck and had them tightened down and had a strap over them to hold as a safety precaution, and had their locks on each of these, had those locked. But these are plastic fittings inside, and with the just bouncing up and down on the road, that caused, you can actually take these and bump them up by hand if you hit them just a bit, and it got loose. And so I happened to look in the rear view mirror, and there was one bicycle that I could see, and I could see part of the handlebars of the other one. Fortunately, we were able to get pulled over, get it up, get it strapped in, and then from that point forward, I don't travel without a ratchet strap holding them down. I had sent a complaint into the company about what had occurred. They sent a piece of this type of strapping big enough to go around the whole thing. I wouldn't trust it. I do have a lot of faith in my ratchet straps, and honestly, not only do I use ratchet strap, but then I've got my cable locks that I use, so that that's more for the security aspect of it, but it's one more level then that I'm not worried about. Is that bicycle coming off? Is it bouncing into another car's windshield, or whatever could be the case there? Because of the design of the bicycles that we have, you have to use another piece. That's this. And the reason for that, these are step-through bicycles, or as I called them when I was a kid, it's a girl's bike. So just opens. Like so. Get them the right direction. All right, so with this in place, it allows this to come down and latch onto that bar that runs across. So if you use this type of bike, this is a must-have to make this work. After doing a little research, after having traveled with this setup, I did enough reading that I didn't feel secure with this situation. And if you start doing a little looking, you can see there are stories, several of them out there, where the rear bumpers on these have failed, and that it may just drop the bike or drop down or whatever. We actually saw someone had posted out where the front part of the camper had actually come apart, which is certainly much heavier welded. So the things that I saw that seemed to carry the highest reviews, and that was, it's called Safety Struts. And what this does is it forms a clamp that comes up under the rear tube bumper. And in the case of several different ways that they mount these bumpers on the Imagine, what they've done is they have just a little piece of angle iron that they use. It's cut at a 90-degree angle, and part of it's welded to the bumper, part of it's welded to the frame. And it is a piece of metal about this big, and the welds on it, you can see they're not particularly heavy. So if you look at it, you'll understand the need for doing some reinforcing. So the tube of the bumper will fit in here, and then this mount will be drilled into the frame so that there is a support that holds up that bumper. In the case of the one that we've got with the angle iron there, it makes an offset, and so they provide some spacers in here to be able to make up for that distance. So my intention is that we'll go ahead and we'll install this. May not happen this afternoon. It's becoming awfully warm out here, and there's also a chance of rain coming in, so may put this off until the morning. So if you notice that the conditions seem to change a bit, you'll know why. Weather conditions did deteriorate throughout the course of the day, so we'll have to come back to installing the safety struts at another time. As always, I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope the information has been helpful to you. Thank you.